Hi, my name's Nitin, and I'm one of the leads at Maslow, and we're just doing a more detailed guide of how the Maslow app works. Now, the main component to be understanding or knowing is that there's three profiles. There's a user profile, a support worker profile, and a therapist profile. The user profile is normally accessed by someone living with a disability or a complex condition or a family member managing the user profile. The support worker platform or profile is used by support workers, and the therapist platform is used by clinicians. So the type of clinicians using the therapist platform are occupational therapists, physiotherapists, speech pathologists, nurses, clinicians that require to create programs or create care guides, structuring those content in their apps and sharing it across to their clients, which is the user. So user, support worker, therapist profiles. The other thing worth noting is the types of cohorts signing up to the user platform. So we're seeing complex neuro across the board. So people with traumatic injury, stroke, MS, cerebral palsy, complex neuro across the board, mental health, intellectual disability, autism, elderly. The common ground between these cohorts is that they have multiple support workers and multiple therapists. And the feedback from the community is I'm struggling or finding it very difficult to explain my weekly routine to a care team of 3 to even 10 support workers. And then at some point, those support workers will do very well in the care routine. They'll know the personal care, they'll know the manual handling, but those support workers will leave, a new bunch of support workers will come, and for that individual, they've got to start the process again of explaining the personal care routine. The other component is that these individuals have multiple therapists, OTs, physios, maybe nurses. They're getting different recommendations or guides or programs to follow along, and then they're finding it difficult either to remember all that information or to even explain it back to the supporting team on how to conduct that in a way that's safe and best practice. So what people are using the platform basically to do is structure a care routine and share it with the care team and access all their different programs and guides from their different clinicians, save it in the profile, and either follow along or share with the care team again. So just a summary, user, support worker, therapist profiles, which are the main structures of Maslow. Now, the one thing to note is that the user profile is an individual profile, whereas carers and therapist profiles can be managing multiple clients. So this particular profile that we're looking at right now is a carer profile, and the features for all profiles are exactly the same. So let's start with this profile here. This is a carer platform. We've got For You, and if you look at the navigation bar at the bottom, For You is the homepage. The main feature worth noting here is the bell on the top right corner. We click into that, and that's going to open up into the notifications coming in from support workers, therapists, and so if a care routine is completed or an update's left on a care routine, if programs are shared or programs have been left with notes, a notification will occur. The routines, and as I've mentioned before, a carer or therapist profile can manage multiple clients. The routine feature is the ability to structure a weekly care routine, save it in the profile, add the support workers onto that routine, and then follow along by checking off each care task is complete. So if I click into, I'm going to share a demo account, and this is for someone who's had a traumatic injury and they've happily shared what their routine looks like. We click into this example, Steve's morning routine. This is showing up the tasks for today, which is Wednesday. And then the support worker can see that there's 9 tasks due for the day, that there's and shared with who's actually connected to the profile or to the routine, and then checking off each care task is complete. So give me a moment. 1, 2, and so every time those care tasks are complete, everyone connected can see the completion of those care tasks and also the ability to leave updates for everyone to see. So if I look in the little green box in the top right corner, click into there, the relevant support workers and therapists will be linked at the top who've been given permission to the routine. And we can see here, Jan 10th, 8:59 p.m. Can we please get a restock of these patches, which is the Oxtral patches. You can add photos and videos, but every comment has a time and a date. And if we go to the top, hey everyone, make sure to turn the lights off in the morning. So these are updates around what's happening in the routine, maybe some challenges that occur, or we need to let them know the entire team that something's happened. But everything is logged with a time and date in this particular chat function of the routine. So that's basically following the daily tasks and leaving update, which is the main features of the routine section. And the creation of the weekly routine is basically create new routine. And this is where you start to structure the tasks for the entire week and allocating which day those tasks are done. Now, moving on to the next feature, which is library. Now, this is not an exercise library. This is guided content for the individual to follow along to, or for the support team to follow along to. Now, at the very top, you can see a green dumbbell, and there's the name Rehab Library. Everything in this library is tracked, okay? So if any of these programs are completed, an adherence stat occurs or a consistency stat occurs. Now, for this particular individual who we're showing at the moment, his physio has created an assisted exercise program, added photos and videos, saved it in the profile or shared it across, and then the support workers have been added to that program. And so whenever the support workers come in for the shift, they open up the template and they follow along to the videos and pictures and the exercises of that particular program and leave comments for the support workers and the physiotherapists to see. The other example here is a daily check-in. The exercise physiologist is working with wants to have some questions answered that they can track. So how is his mental health? 1 out of 10. How much stretching has he done? What's his pain levels? 1 out of 10. So this is more of a checklist of questions that the exercise physiologist is linked to. Another one is pressure care tracking, a bit more of a habit, where if the support workers do skin checks, they can track how often that skin check was done. And if a pressure sore occurs, they can take a photo, upload it into that template, and the connected therapist can see, and I guess, how that pressure sore is being managed. But I think the main thing worth noting here is that you can design bespoke programs or guides that need to be tracked and then link the relevant therapists to track those programs. Let's go through the example of finishing a program. So assisted exercise program, we can see here the shared with the relevant people connected. So it could be support workers or therapists. And then this is the overview of this particular program. Support worker that's linked, click start, and then follows along to the content that's been added. So the fourth exercise is a chin up, and they've added a video on how to do that particular exercise and the breakdown of the setup of that particular task. Now, the core feature here is that you can add multiple videos and pictures per task. And the support worker continues to follow along to the program, watches the media that's been added. At the very end, if they need to leave some feedback for the entire team to see, they click leave feedback. The relevant support workers and therapists are linked at the top, and we can basically see the live updates of what's happening specifically in that program. So we can see here September 7th, 1:30 p.m, feeling pain in my left shoulder, which everyone can see remotely. And so we finish that program. And then basically when that program's complete, in the progress section, you'll basically get a stat for the completion of that program. Let's see if we can quickly pull that up. And there we go, Wednesday assisted exercise program complete. and that's in the progress feature. And then what you can do is just click left on that arrow, and you can look across the year how often a certain program is done. So the previous week, for February 7th to February 13th, we can see what exercises were completed. So you can basically track how often programs are done across the year. Basically what we discussed here was the Rehab Library. I'll just pull it up again. There we go. And so the thing I mentioned here, which is the dumbbell and the Rehab Library section, is that everything in this section is tracked. It's completed. In the progress feature we just saw, you'll get a tick for the day of the week, and you can see how often it's done. Now, the top right corner, there's a love heart. That's a little bit different. Now, this is the care library, and this is more around creating and saving content around consistent care tasks that might happen. Now, if I click into this template here, this particular individual has done a breakdown of a bed to shower chair transfer. So this is a consistent care task that needs to happen and requires a bit more explanation for what's best practice or what's safe for the support workers to follow along. So this individual's added photos and descriptions of the breakdown of that particular task, saved it in his profile. Support worker might have done a buddy shift, but this is their second point of reference. They access this particular template, click start, and then they follow along to the guides that's been created, and view descriptions that's been also added, and then follow along again to get some understanding on how to do that particular care task. If they need to leave feedback in that particular care template, you can again. And again, the connected support workers or therapists in that particular care module can see the comments coming through with a time and date. So I think to note here, the care library can be manual handling related, so how to do a hoist transfer. It could be how to change a catheter. It could be how to put on a CPAP machine, all the way to how to make my juice in the morning. So it's more around what's consistent care tasks that require education, and then saving those templates for either the individual to follow along to or the support workers to follow along to. And now you have a central body of the care routines for the week, the programs that are recommended by the therapist, and also the care guides that need to be followed along in the home. The last component is basically team. There's no limit to how many, support workers or therapists can be added to a team. Once a therapist or a support worker has been added, you click save. And the most important thing to note is that when you save someone in your team, it does not mean you have access to the routines in the profile. If 5 support workers are added in the team, then you individually have to give access to the morning routine for each support worker. And then if someone leaves, you take them off from that particular routine and then add a new support worker on if they come on. So that's simple as going save morning routine, click edit, and we take off Lucy in the carer, we go add carer, and we go next carer, save. And so you first have to add the support workers in the team or the therapists in the team, and then add them or give them permission to access the relevant content. But in a nutshell, following weekly care routines, accessing programs from therapists, also accessing care tutorials or guides, and then following along to that content in the home and leaving updates for the individual support workers and therapists to see. If you have any further questions around, these core features, reach out directly with us. We can do another Zoom call around guiding you through these features and help set you up with any of your clients, or if you're the individual living with a disability trying to access the platform. Thank you very much.